Hi, so today I'm going to be talking about something that is mentioned in this book called the pencil test. It's a question that I've been asked by a patron, so I am going to try my best to answer it. Hi, my name is Luis Escobar. I'm a storyboard artist on the Simpsons television show. I've been working on the show for over 25 years now, and I'm here to empower you. So again, I'm going to be talking about something mentioned in Steve Huston's book, a book that I recommended and I reviewed in a previous video. I will link to that in the description here. But he talks about the pencil test. It's in page 61, and he starts talking about it. And I'm going and Raul Youngson over on Patreon wanted me to talk about it, maybe clarify it, just add some my take on it. You know, sometimes you just need to see an example of a thing. Now, this is something that I mean, I took a lot of classes with Steve Huston. I mean, a lot. I think he was the one guy that I took the most classes with, and I never heard him talk about it. But so I've read what he said in this book, and he kind of builds up to this. So I'm going to kind of really quickly explain how he builds up to it, but mostly I will show you an example of how to use this technique according to what he is saying in the book. All right, so let's take a look at some examples. So we have here some reference. Say you're doing this figure. One of the things that he wants you to build up to is three elements. He wants you to build up to. He wants you to think about facing, leaning, and tilt. So the idea here is to pick a pencil of some sort, some kind of drawing thing, but it has to be. Let me get an example of what not to get. Okay, so I have a Prismacolor pencil here. Prismacolor pencil is all black. It has no band on it. It even has it says Prismacolor on it, but that's it. There's no band, right? There's nothing wrapping around this pencil. Don't get something like this. What you want is to get something like this, which has a band, so that you can tilt it up and down, and you can see the line of the band, right? Because it wraps around. You could also use something like this, which again, see the pencil holder itself has lines that wrap around all the way around, so that when you tilt it, you can see it's the tubular structure. You could even use a ballpoint pen with a cap, because the cap itself wraps around, right? Even this end wraps around. So what you want something that has a wrap around the tubular structure of the drawing tool that you have. You don't have to actually draw with it. You just have to have it handy, because most likely you're going to use it as reference, and then you're going to use your regular drawing thing, and then you have this you'll have this as part of your reference, and then you'll be drawing with it with something else, right? Because if you're using the thing that you're drawing with as the tilt, you're going to have to get it'll be. I'll show you. It'll be a bit of a problem. All right, so the idea here is we're talking about facing. So what does he mean by facing? Well, you look at the center line of the figure. So in this case, the figure is looking that way. So the facing of, say, her head would be, we're looking at the center line. Where's the nose? How far is it from the edge? It's about here. This is how much space we have of this side of the face, and then we have more side of the face here on this side. So that's what he means by facing. Same with the torso. If we have a torso like this, and I'll just do a straight tube, and we're looking for either the center line between the pecs and the belly button, what lines up to the pecs and the belly button and all the way to the pit of the neck. Do we see it? No, we don't. But how about the back? Do we see the spine? The spine is a really good indicator of the center line from the backside. So a line between the pit of the neck down to the belly button, right? That is the center line of the torso. On the face, it would be the line of the nose from maybe the top of the nose all the way down to the pit of the nose, to the chin, to the center of the chin. Like all that's the center line. How much of that can we see? From the torso, it's that. So the spine is, and so do we see some of the spine? Yes, we do. We do see some of the spine. How much of the spine do we see? We only see like so much of the spine, like just kind of right there. And how much of the from the spine to the other end do we see? Very, very little. There's a very small line. So that's what he means by facing. You have to look for the center line and where is it facing, right? Okay, then we need a tilt, right? The tilt is flat, in the flat graphic shape. Is the body tilting this way or this way? Is the head tilting this way or this way? In the flat graphic, we're not talking about, lean, I'm sorry, lean. Tilt is dimensional. Lean is where it's leaning graphically. So, for example, this top of the torso has this lean. It leans this way. This bottom of the hips leans this way. So we're looking for leans, right? The head is leaning this way. So we're looking for leans. So we have the facing. That's something that we're looking for. We're also, and then we're looking for the lean of the figure. In the arms, which is what we're really going to be dealing with, we're looking for how is it leaning? Well, it's definitely leaning this way, right? So how is it leaning? It's leaning about yay, like that. This is leaning. The arm is leaning up like this. Yeah, like so. That's the lean. That's what we're looking for. That's the lean. When it comes to arms, and you're looking for the center line of the arms, that's a little bit difficult, and that's a little bit different. I'm not sure if that is. The problem is that you would have to break up the arm maybe into kind of pieces, the front and the back. We could just invent a center line for that, but for now, let's just talk about faces and torsos tend to have the clearest front and back. And maybe I'll have a whole video of inventing a facing for arms and legs. That would be probably a good video to have. Let's invent one, and then so that way we could understand the facing of an arm and legs and the upper arm and lower arms and stuff like that. All right, and then we have the tilt, and that's when our pencil comes in. When we want to do the tilt, we've got the facing, we've got the leaning, and now we are going to do the tilt. Now the idea here is that, and I'm gonna see if I can somehow show it to you in camera without that, but it isn't me. It isn't me that you're looking. I could do it myself easily by looking at it like this, but I'm going to do it to camera so that you could see what I would see. So this is going to be tricky. Okay, so let's begin with, say, the head. The head, we have already established that it's going to have this kind of spacing from the center line to the edge of the face, right? It's about like that. Then we have it's leaning slightly forward. It's leaning slightly to the right. And then we want to see if there's a tilt to it. So the tilt would be looking at anything that we think we see is going away from us or toward us. I think this is way subtle, but I think it's facing away from us. So I think that if we were to use this and we have it like this, the lean would be, let me see if I could get this way. It's lean. It's the lean is to the left, and then we let's use a better. The lean is to the left, and then wait, am I doing it like that? Let me get out of the way. And then we lean it this way. There. See? So there is the lean. This is the direction of the face, right? So if we keep our lean just like this, and then we add the lean, so we have we have the center line, and then we add the lean, so then we copy what we see. So that helps us with the tilt. We add the tilt, I'm sorry. So we have the lean, the center line, the facing, and then we have the tilt, which we get from our reference. Okay, so let's add that to the torso. We could do that. We have the lean of the torso, and then we are trying to see, again, very, very subtle, what the tilt of the torso is. And in this case, the tilt would be, the lean is this way, this way, and then the tilt would be, I think it's coming toward us, ever so slightly this way. So Huston says that if you're going to err on the side of too subtle or too exaggerated, the exaggeration is the way to go. It's better to be more exaggerated with the tilt than it is to be too subtle. So if you over exaggerate, it's clearer actually. And then the hip would be tilted this way, and it would tilt I believe it's tilting, it's super subtle. It's tilting away from us. So the tilt is, wait, which way am I doing this? This way? And then it's tilting away from us. Like that. Because it's contrapposto. So the body is doing this. It's doing this. It's contrapposto. And that's what this is helping us do. We're seeing the lean this way, like that. So our pencil helps us see that space. And then the arm, of course, this is the top arm over here. That's the lean. So we lean our pencil. Let's see if I can clear my face out of the way here. We lean our pencil this way. Man, this is really tricky to do. There we go. There. And then lean is this way. This way. So we know that this is like that. And so that helps us see the dimension of this arm, the direction, the tilt of the arm. The same with this one, the back arm. It's tilting this way, and we're looking at the wraparound of this metal, and then we're trying to capture that direction. Okay, so that's what we do, and we can do that with every single. Let me skip this one. These are a little bit more dynamic, especially with foreshortening. You know, this sort of thing. That's exactly what we want. We're looking for all the same elements, facing. Where's the center line? Where's the center line here? What's the lean? It's leaning this way, so it's leaning this way. It's facing straight this way. What's the lean of the neck? It's facing this way. What's the center line? It's right here, pit of the neck. The lean of the torso. So, and all of this goes with gesture and structure. So let's say, let's add the gesture. We want the longest line. So the longest line, this is something that he actually does talk about in here. He says that we ought to find all the long axis landmarks, but that he mentions in chapter, it says chapter 3, but it's actually chapter 2 where he mentions it, where we're looking for all the gestural stuff. So all the stuff that he built in the previous chapters, he's talking about the gesture. So find all the long axis lines first, and then we talk about lean. So then we have the lean of the torso. It's this way. We have the center line, which is pit of the neck down to the navel, right? And we're looking to see how much space, how much wider one side is to the other, how close is the center line to the edge, and then we're seeing that this center line is over here. There's less of this side than there is of this side. So then we're working up that and we have a lean, which means that this is coming this way and this is coming this way, right? We have that lean, and then the bottom part of the torso is leaning this way. So we have this graphic lean. We have arms, etc. And then we get the pencil, and then we lean it in the direction that it's moving and in the tilt, and add the tilt. And then we have our map for the tilt of the body, and then we can start using that as our so we know that the chest is going to wrap that way, and then the navel is going to go wrap that way, etc. So that's the overall use of doing the pencil test, where you use a pencil to add a tilt to the figure that you're using, especially in more exaggerated poses like this. When you have a subtle pose like this, it does help, especially if you're going to over exaggerate, but it requires, especially with the subtlety of something like this, from that we know that there's a contrapposto, and then this contrapposto. Let me just add a center line so that you understand that I'm talking about this being in this. We're looking straight at this, right? So we have like a contrapposto kind of a pose, but if it's from the side, we'd actually see this tilt this way, like this. So this area of the body is slightly separated from this top area, because the top of the torso and the bottom of the torso can move away from each other like this. So they require a slightly different tilt for each, right? So that we're breaking up the torso into two tubes that have their own lean and their own tilt, and even their own facing, because a contrapposto position can be this upper part of the torso can move this way, and this bottom part of the torso can move that way, and so they would have two different facings and two different leans and two different tilts. So all of this seems like a lot to keep track of, but if you take it step by step, if you just go first only facings, and then only facings and leans, and then next facing leans and tilts, but by the time you get to the tilt, hopefully the facing part will be second nature because you've practiced it so much. The lean part will be second nature because you've practiced it so much. So the idea being that you have all these things already part of your habit. They're all become habitual when you're drawing. So then when you add an element, you're able to just focus on the new element until it becomes habitual. So, but again, it's all part of the thing that you learn when you're doing figure drawing. You're thinking about all this stuff in the most basic ways possible, breaking everything down into tiny absorbable chunks. So hopefully that clarifies, and hopefully, Raul, this answers your question about the pencil test. How is it used? Why is it used? What is its purpose? And it's a practical explanation as to what was meant by using the pencil to draw, and it's just a guide. It helps, especially when drawing, to have an exam, like especially if you can't imagine the dimensions of a thing. But you'll get used to it after a while, and you do have to make the choice. Sometimes the choice is vague, like in this particular figure where it's really hard to see it. And the only reason I even chose the leans I did was because I understood that she was standing on this one leg here. Because when you're standing on this one leg, all your I know the physics, the way that bodies work, the way that bodies balance. So I knew from experience that that's how it works. That's how you keep balance. When you have all your weight on one leg, that's the leg that's the leg where the hips go up. And then if the hips go up, the shoulders go down to balance. So that's the only reason I knew that that's the lean I should have used. And I should lean my pencil in that direction. And then once I figured that out and I had the pencil in that direction, then I was able to wrap, to use the pencil to guide my tilt. The dimension of my tilt. All right, thanks a lot for watching. Thank you, Raul, for the question. If you guys have any questions about something like this, like Raul did, then please feel free to ask. It just gives me good ideas for videos to record, and also it helps anybody else who may have the same question. And also, if you're interested in drawing and you have no idea where to even begin because you can't even draw a stick figure, then there is a description. In the description of this video, there is a link to a course that I've created for anybody who is interested in learning to draw, that is afraid that talent is required. Talent is not required, it just requires a lot of effort and skill to learn. It's more of a craft first before it becomes an art. An art means that you are expressing yourself with a craft, right? Like a writing is a skill, is a craft that you first learn all the rules of, and then you're able to communicate through poetry, through music, through prose, and express yourself through that by using grammatical rules of the language, which is a skill and a craft to learn. And then you learn how to communicate in a poetic way later using that craft. And that's when it becomes art. Drawing is the same way. You have all these elementary fundamental things that you first have to learn that are not artistic at all. There is no art in it. It's all skill and craft. And then once you learn that stuff on top of all the craft that you learned, then you can produce art. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you next time. All right, bye.